What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 5 of No Sugar Added. I am your host, Dan, joined by the two normal gentlemen that are always with us every single podcast, John Claude and Jay Fabs.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, guys, what's going on out there?
And as always, before we begin the discussion, don't forget to follow us on iTunes, Google, Snitcher, and wherever your favorite place is. And don't forget to visit us at nosugaraddedpodcast.com to keep updated with all the other news. So, today's topic, episode 5, is flirting, dating, and sleeping around in the workplace. Good, bad? Where are we landed on this discussion?
From an employee's point of view, good. From an employer's point of view, bad.
Well, especially in that HR office.
I feel yeah, you know, working with coworkers. I mean, how much time you occupy with them in the workplace is, what does it say? Misery likes company, or even what's that famous Calvin Harris song in Rihanna? We found love in a hopeless place.
Yeah, we found love in a hopeless place. There we go.
Right, let's close the music.
Key the music.
Good song, though. You know?
It is.
So yeah, well, I mean, some would say, you know, it's frowned upon. What do you guys think? I mean, in certain aspects, I can see it being frowned upon.
I mean, there are a couple of reasons. I think when it comes to being frowned upon, it's more for the fact of favoritism. Like, oh, okay, if you date someone in the workplace and they somehow fall underneath your chain of command, like maybe in the same department, are you going to favorite them over the others? So is Rebecca going to get a couple extra hours every week? You know, when Johnny over here is working his butt off, but he needs the extra hours more than Rebecca. You know, and then I think it also comes to favoritism, and then what's...
Or getting away with some stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, when you, like, let's say, I don't know, because right now my only point of view is dating someone that is in a higher position than you. So you like kind of...
There's a different hierarchy.
Yeah.
Once you cross that, then it can be an imbalance.
Yeah, you kind of adopt their power. So, an example, a guy who's dating a girl that's like his manager, like, oh, you can't... He'll tell his coworkers, like, I can't get in trouble. You know why? Because I'm dating the manager.
Yeah.
And so, you know, stuff like that. I think that's what makes it...
Favoritism. It leads to workplace imbalance.
Exactly.
Because then now the hierarchy doesn't even matter anymore. Now you take that out of place, and now it's like, it doesn't matter what position I'm at. I'm sleeping with the boss, or I'm sleeping with someone higher above. I can get my way. The hierarchy doesn't matter no more to that individual.
Exactly. And so, like, that's frowned upon. But when it's like two same level employees, I think it goes from, you know, it goes from like, oh, we don't want this person having power or this and that, to we don't want them spending too much time focused on themselves when they should be focused on work.
Yeah.
When it's the same level employee.
Yeah.
From there, that's the reason why I would find it frowned upon.
I think too, like, if you're an employer, obviously you want to get the most work productivity out of your individuals. So obviously you don't want them commingling, speaking, laughing. You want them focused on the task because you're trying to get the most out of them.
They can laugh, okay? They can laugh and speak. They need some communication.
As a supervisor, I don't know.
They can't fornicate. They can't fornicate.
Well, to be honest with you, there are different managers out there. There's micromanagers who, if they see the smallest bit of enjoyment, like a Hitler-type boss would be like, whoa. Did I say you could laugh? You know?
Oh, whoop. What, you
hey,
know,
I've
wait, hold on. You know what? I'm thinking about it now. Yeah, I think I've had one or two bosses. Remember when we used to work at...
Hollister?
No, not just Hollister. Remember the bistro?
Oh, the bistro, yeah.
Yeah,
The bistro.
They were not fans of us having fun.
The bistro is a restaurant, ladies and gentlemen.
The bistro, I mean...
Well, it's not even named the bistro anymore, but...
Yeah, that's not called the bistro.
Yeah, but me and Guru Dan used to work at a fine establishment restaurant, and they did not want us having fun whatsoever.
No, they did not. I got burned. It hurt.
But yeah, I mean, as an employer, I mean... If two people who are within the same position, I mean, you would think it wouldn't matter. But I guess depending upon who your employer or your boss is, they could see things differently and try to disrupt things. But to be like I kind of said, that little you find love in a hopeless place. You know, sometimes if you have a job and you don't really like that job, you start meeting others and then you kind of want to have enjoyment with other people. You want to better things in a worse situation. And when you better things in a worse situation, you actually kind of get to know your company, and then they become friends, right? And then friends could lead to...
Yeah, because they're in the same... Because obviously you're around these people for what? I want to say normal job is 8 hours. I don't know if you're if you're part-timer, I don't know.
Yeah.
But regardless, a normal job, you spend 8 hours of your life, and most of your life as an adult is dedicated to your work. So if that's the case, wouldn't you find it logical to mingle with the people you work with? Because those are the people you see on a constant basis, like an everyday thing.
And the more often you see them, the more often you're learning things about them. You're learning how they interact. You're learning their pros, their cons.
Exactly. It's like talking, like a man and a woman talk, or a man and man, or woman, whichever way it goes. But like a man and a woman talk outside of the workplace, it's called talking. But when you do it in the workplace, it's just a coworker getting to know another coworker, and then things just kind of happen.
Yeah,
yeah, for sure. I mean, which will jump us into the pros and cons area of the whole situation. There's definitely a lot of pros and cons to this. A pro being you'll better understand your partner's work grievances, and a con being, can you put your job in jeopardy?
Yeah. And then at some point, like in some instances, the person someone will have to choose. Come to like a situation like, is it the person or the job? Which one do you really focus more on? And then if you have like a really good paying job, like, pay attention to that job. You need that money. Simple as that.
Yeah.
I got a couple pros and cons here. Let's go down a couple of pros here. Pro, you'll get to see your partner all the time. In certain aspects it's a pro, and in certain aspects it's not good.
Yeah, having them present, that's a key one.
It also gives you, in the morning when you have to wake up for work, you're not dreading, going to work. You're like, oh, I actually get to see, my partner today. Unless if you're in the middle of a fight, then you're kind of fucked on that. Work romance is saucy. Especially
saucy.
if it's kept in a secret.
Ooh, those secret loves.
And work relationships, as we already talked about, could come with some perks, depending if you're dating that boss or not. A couple of cons here.
Well, hold on. Yep. Is that a perk? That's a perk for the people who are dating. But outside of that relationship, it's not seen as a perk. It's seen as a little bit of a disadvantage.
Exactly. But if you're keeping it secret and saucy.
But if you're the one doing the saucing, then you're benefiting.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
So a couple of cons, like I said, job in jeopardy, you break up, and then, hitting that snooze button.
Oh, God.
Is gonna,
a breakup in the workplace.
You'll totally be distracted. You're going to be thinking about that person all the time at work. When I'm going to see him. Like I said before, seeing your partner all the time. Yes, it's under the con as well, because it could be a con. And if the entire workplace actually finds out that you're dating, there's a lot of backlash there. You got those people that run straight to HR on you.
They're gunning for you. Yeah,
But he gets the data manager and I can't. Well, no one wants you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because you can easily leap over an individual who's been with the company for X amount of years, maybe double the time you've been there, but you just leapfrog that individual by sleeping with the head honcho,
Definitely.
So
some will get promotions, some will get pay raises.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to dating or just, I don't know, like anything relationship-wise, like a romantic relationship inside the workplace, dating level-to-level peers, fine, whatever, that's cool. But when it comes to dating someone in a higher position than you, then from there, to me, I see that's a little bit frowned upon. Only because, it's favoritism. I've been in that situation, and no one likes that. No one likes losing hours. No one likes losing duties, responsibilities, because fucking Sally Sue is dating Bob.
Goddamn Bob.
Bob.
Yeah, no, I understand. Which it will kind of bring us into the question I had. Dating someone above or below your position. What does it cause for you? If you're dating your boss, you got to think about. Is it worth the risk? You got to keep things professional. create boundaries, and if you're considering a long-term relationship with that person, how is that going to affect your career within a company?
Ooh. Do you ever come out and tell people?
That's true.
Which is a big thing. A lot of companies, bigger companies don't allow in work relationships, especially an entry level and a boss, manager level, like per se.
Very true. Very true.
When I was a manager at a certain location, which I will not name, if you're dating, you're allowed to date entry level employees, but you're not allowed to be with them. Like they'll get tossed in a different department with a different management area, so they'll split you guys up completely.
Oh, okay. So you can't have any real contact inside the workplace, but outside, it's all good.
Yeah, and it works the same way. If you're an entry level and you're dating another entry level, you guys also get split up.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
So it's interesting. I know JFabs have with dating in the workplace.
Oh yes, this is why this topic is so great because JFabs has such a good history.
Grand intro.
I'm dating this up real quick.
Might as well get it all out right now.
Yeah, speak your story.
He dated a girl and he grounded the kid and took away his Xbox.
Wow,
fucked up.
What a way to leapfrog the whole story and
the highlights
and throw a key memory
from the start. How'd it go? What position were you? What position was she?
All right, cool. Let's jump right into it then.
The story of JFabs.
It's my good old story. So I was working with this woman, not a girl. This woman I was working with.
My bad.
For I guess we were working together for several years, and then to be honest with you, I don't know what it was, but after several years, I guess I was just like, you know what? She's always looked kind of cute, and she's always kind of like, we've had like flirtatious moments. And then she'd be like, "Oh, you got a cut in your hand?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got a cut in my hand." She's like,
boo-boo.
and yeah, she'd be like, "Oh, you got boo-boo, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got boo-boo."
What position were you guys?
Okay, position-wise, I was a front store supervisor. She was a pharmacy technician.
Oh, so she can wrap up that boo-boo.
So it was two different departments. So I mean, before things even got to that point, we were both in two different departments. So it was nothing that could really be strained on us, foreseeing as things did play out. But no, she would we had cute interactions in the beginning. It would be like, "Oh, you have a cut. Oh, let me wrap that boo boo up." Or we got an ice pack. You want to put an ice pack on your
ouchie.
Yeah, like cute stuff, cute interactions back and forth, and flirtatious with one another. But then eventually, I was like, you know what? She's pretty cute, pretty attractive. I was like, you know what? Let's just go in and do it. I guess I decided to just step up to the plate and attempt it. And
you did it during work hours?
During work hours.
Oh, you heard that? You heard that job?
Well, she doesn't work for the company anymore. So, and she's a old.
What? No mumbling, bro. Just say it out there.
Say what you real feel.
She's just an ex.
It's all about no sugar added, bro.
No sugar. What a way to throw that in there. I guess it was during the workplace, and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna go for it. I mean, because we had been exchanging texts for a while, and then there was a time too, like, all right, you're going on break, I'm gonna go on too. So there was like almost like an agreement amongst like when we're gonna take lunch breaks with one another, and then eventually like we took cute lunch breaks, and then sharing food here and there. Share my tots. No, just kidding.
Oh, damn. All right. And then back room, huh? We'll be cleaning those tables.
So, and then eventually, I was like, you know what? Like, today's the day. Like, I'm going to, towards the end of her shift, I'm going to, ask her to step out real quick and go in for that kiss. So I was like...
Whoa. You kissed her, after work?
During work
you didn't
hours.
Even take her on one date? You just letting them for the kiss?
I know, it's kind of crazy, right? I don't think we didn't go on a date. Wow. I just kind of leaped in. I was like, I want to give you something.
Yeah.
Come to the hallway.
Wow, come to the hallway. Good job.
Pulled down his pants straight away,
the hammer came out. No. And I just straight told her, just come to the hallway. I want to give you something. I didn't, young, I just wanted to do it. I guess I guess you get to that point where something's eating away at you, and it's like you just kind of have to say it, or you kind of have to do it. And you don't want to think twice about it.
Bro, that's a me thing every day. I just want to say things, but I don't say them.
But so now I was just like, fuck it, let's just do it. I was like, so she came in, I was like, I just want to give you something. She's like, hey. I was like, come here. And I was like, and then she
like a quick little peck.
not a quick peck. I think it was like a quick. Yeah, you know what? I think it was a quick peck, but then I like went back in. I was like a few seconds extra longer, and then she just like looked at me like with like happiness.
So this is like the first elementary school kiss type of thing.
Yeah, kind of
like
like
a little peck right there, and then maybe a little longer this time.
Yeah, exactly. A quick peck, and then I looked back like good, and then like she looked like good. So I was like one more longer one, and it's funny because I didn't know until after that. I think I was going home. So after that, I was just kind of like I left on a kiss. So after that, I was like, she knew I was leaving because I said like I was gonna leave. Like my shift was over. So then on my way out the door, the cashier actually was like, "Did I see what I just saw all the way from the front?"
Like, yeah, you did.
And this was like a kid. It was like 16-year-old kid. So I was just like, "You saw what you saw. Enjoy it." And I just walked out.
Bro, you say shit, I'm gonna fire you.
I didn't even think of that. I was just thinking like, pimp, drop my mic. I just,
my God.
Like a kid, you know?
Yeah.
And then from there, we just started dating, and I can answer some of the other questions you kind of said with dating in the workplace. How does it get?
Yeah, how does it get?
I honestly, this whole podcast might be me, guys. So everyone who's listening, just
go for it.
What's the story of JFAB?
My former story, we'll call it, my previous story. So then, actually, like when we did get to dating, I'm a very, not to say worrisome, but I'm a very cautious individual. Where I did think ahead. I did go in the manual. I did read exactly word for word.
Are we allowed to do this?
Yeah, like, is this acceptable? So according to the company, is it acceptable? So I did read it, and it did say that you could date amongst one another, that you do have to let your immediate manager know if you are dating someone in the workplace. But it is acceptable if it's within two different departments, kind of like what you said in your previous job, that it is acceptable, but you should notify a manager. And I guess, I mean, I'm a very type of person, I don't like hiding things. I do put things out there because I want it to be known. So at the same time, it was almost like a personal conflict, where I was like, can I show my affection for somebody in the workplace, but at the same time understand that the workplace may not agree exactly with what you feel. So then do you put things on pause, or do you allow things to play out as you would like them to play out? But at the same time, I don't want to be selfish, because the other individual works as well. You know, it's not just my income, it's also her income that's at risk. So, you know, I mean, obviously me and her spoke to one another before we got things public. And she was, I guess she was like, she trusted me. She's like, you read the manual. If you're okay with it and we're doing things right, then let's play out things how we want to play them out. So to be honest with you, maybe I was a little bit young too, because at the time, like, that's just my emotions. I don't want to hide my emotions. That's who I am. So at the workplace, we probably shouldn't have, thinking back then, but like we would call each other babe in the workplace.
Danger zone.
Yes, very danger zone. So there was another supervisor, my same position, and she actually got jealous of me dating someone in the workplace. Whether she got jealous because of I did go out for a drink or two with that other individual while I was talking to the girl that I started dating. So whether she got jealous and maybe she wanted to date me instead, I don't know. But then she went to a higher above person, my manager, and had said like false stories about me, that we were making out in the aisles, we were hooking up in the back, and all these other areas within the store. And I took it personal, so I was like, I'm going to address this immediately with this individual, saying, why are you saying, because my manager did come forward to me and did tell me, like, hey, I'm just telling you, I heard certain things being said, you're a good coworker, you're also a good friend, and the girl as well, so, you know, I wanted to come to you and also tell you, you know, what's, like, are any of these things true? And I told her, like, to be honest with you, none of that's true. Like, do we kiss? We kiss outside the store, yes. Maybe in the front of the doorway before we walk in, but we were very cautious enough to not do that, to make people feel uncomfortable, because I also read that in the handbook. You have to allow the workplace, you cannot allow the workplace to be uncomfortable to other people.
So no public displays of affection.
I would put that as underneath that particular definition in the book. In the handbook, it doesn't say specifically what are examples of it, but that, I mean, if you were to walk into the workplace and you saw two individuals kissing, somewhat you could feel
a bit uncomfortable.
I mean, do you need an example? I think it's pretty obvious. Like,
I mean, I guess for someone like me, I could easily be like, hey, none of that. There are no examples within the handbook. If I was to try and bend rules, and if somebody was to approach me and say I was allowing the workplace to feel uncomfortable. So, I mean, like I said, I did my extensive research before dating someone within the workplace, and I had that only in particular person who saw it as conflict. Just because I went out with that individual, had a drink or two with them, no hookups, no play time. But I mean, besides that, I mean, I can go in further, but I mean, I don't know if you have any.
Okay, here's my question.
Yeah, shoot questions off
to the listener. Probably the listener is wondering right now, was it worth it in the long run?
In the long run, I mean, I think it was worth it in a relationship standpoint. Like, I mean, just specifically talking a relationship standpoint, I found it okay because I did like this individual. I did want to date him, and I took the risks I was okay with taking. I felt I received the rewards from it without having.
You got to ground a kid. Good job.
That's not even the workplace, but yeah, I did take away a kid's Xbox with a parental approval,
which was you at the time.
I guess I was seen as a stepdaddy.
Not even your kid.
It wasn't even my kid.
I think you said he was taller than you.
He was taller than me. Imagine a 16-year-old taller than his stepdaddy. But I mean, to be honest with you, I saw some of the parental things that she had, how she was addressing certain behavioral issues with the child, her son, and I mean, believe me, I asked for permission before I could even make a decision or even be a voice within a decision for her child, because obviously that's not my kid.
So you saw him doing something bad, and you're like, "Hey, can I ground your son?"
I felt she was not harsh enough on the boy. I swear to you,
the boy.
Sound like a true stepfather.
This was no boy wonder. All right, this. I'm telling you right now, this boy had free say, free. I mean, he treated his mom with respect, but it was just like
free reign.
Free, like, okay, he did something bad, the mother would be like, okay, you know what, that teacher was wrong. I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh, damn, that kind of person.
Yeah, like that, like automatic approval of the child, and the child was never wrong. And I was just like, wait a minute, the teacher said it, and another teacher said it. You're saying two teachers are wrong, but your son is wrong. I mean, at the same time, I understand that can be true, but you're going up against so many different, you know what I mean? Like, she was already shooting down anything that her kid got into trouble. So then I was like, you know what? Can I step in and like, can we do something? Can we just take away the games and the system? And then she's like, yeah, but if I hide it in the house, he's going to find it. So I was like, fine, I'll take it.
Wow. So it was impossible to ground me from video games. There's so many different ways you could have done. I hit phone, Xbox, like handhelds, like.
Well, I hid the Xbox in my trunk. So
I know I did, because I opened the trunk one day and I saw an Xbox there.
So there was one night we all see our Marvel movies together. But we won't be seeing Ant-Man and Wasp together. But we went out to see our normal Marvel movie.
Marvel podcast.
And I forget how I opened my trunk. I forget for what purpose I did. Maybe take a water out. And then I guess that's when
you took a water out. Yeah.
You guys saw an Xbox. Like, why you have an Xbox in your trunk? And that's where this story has led to.
Now, when dating her, you know, outside of workplace versus in workplace, what would you say was more satisfying for you? You know, was the inside workplace more appealing, more conversating?
Because you couldn't do it,
more?
Or no, it wasn't really allowed.
In an emotional standpoint, I was happy. Well, the emotional standpoint that I was in while in the relationship, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. In the beginning of that relationship, or just dating, then I was kind of like, I wanted that person to be around me often, probably just to give affection and to receive the affection. And obviously, I'm at work. Like, you know, I work 40 hours. You know, she works 40 hours, so automatically, a majority of that 40 hours I spend with her. So I know where she is. She knows where I'm at. Like, there's no if there was any worrying of where the other individual was at, it was at the workplace. You know, I saw you, and at the same time, you know, you knew you could come see me. You know, so if there's any if there's people who are listening who have this unsure thinking, like, oh, where is my partner? You know, where are they at the time? You know, if you have that, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you have that, if you want to have that
that doubt.
Yeah, if you have doubt, if you have,
what is she actually doing right now? I need to know what she's doing.
all I have to do is walk 15 steps to walk to the back.
Are you actually at work? Okay, there you are.
Yeah, let me check.
You don't know it's prescriptions. Good job.
You know, and at the same time too, if she had conflict with a certain customer, she could call me to resolve certain issues. You know, obviously appropriately, not allow the emotions to affect me responding.
Yo, you mess with my girl?
About to catch his hands.
And believe me, there are certain situations where, and to be honest, that's a good point. Now that we bring that up, there were certain times and situations where, like, she was a very emotional person. So when she got into a conflict within the workplace and she would call me to resolve it, I approached it like an individual.
As a boyfriend.
No, I didn't.
No?
I didn't.
Oh,
that's where it harmed me, because I approached it as someone, as a manager, supervisor, and I approached it customer based, and she was irate at times. After that interaction, she would disappear. And she would be crying her balls out in the freaking bathroom, because that's where I had to find her.
Oh, Denver, who the fuck are you dating?
What?
Her balls out?
Crying balls out. Is that crying tears out? Is that
Bawling out.
You know,
bawling out.
No judgment. No judgment.
Yeah, you're right. No judgment.
But fuck out of here. But yeah, like, and then I would be like, where'd she go after the interaction? Because obviously, it's a customer service based job. It's my job to make sure the customer is receiving the fullest, customer service. And she would disappear after the interaction. I would have to go locate her and find out, hey, are you okay? Like, why are you crying? And she'd be like, no, I'm fine. And at that same point, I would have to encrypt that as she's not fine.
Oh, God, no.
It took me some time to learn that, by the way. But it's
not fine always means there's something wrong.
Exactly.
Girl code.
So I would have to encrypt that as like, no, something's wrong, but she doesn't want to tell me at the moment until her emotions are settled down, and then I could ask her again later. And then she would let me have it. And she'd be like, no, I feel as if you took the customer's position and you didn't take mine. And you dismissed my emotions and my argument from it. Oh. And then I would have to tell her, like...
She was mad that you didn't come to the...
I didn't take her side as a girlfriend.
Yeah, you didn't come to the issue as a boyfriend. You came to it as a manager.
I approached it as a manager.
And how did that make you feel?
It was so conflicting.
Oh, hold on. First, I want to say, like, one thing. That's kind of dumb of her, only for, like, a good reason. Like, hey, outside of this is work. Like, you need the money. That's why you took it as a manager in the managerial position rather than the boyfriend position. Do you want to get fired?
Because if I answered it from a boyfriend's perspective,
holy crap,
emotions are high.
Yeah.
If I approach that emotionally, I'm easily like, why are you screaming? Why are you yelling? How dare you even talk to her like that? Now,
doesn't Firm C have their own type of manager?
See, now that's also a very interesting thing you bring up. They do have their own manager. The pharmacist is the manager in charge. So then, why didn't she ask her manager to assist in that conversation? Why did she ask me, the front store manager, supervisor, to assist in that situation? So,
because she thought that you were going to immediately favor her because you guys were dating.
Exactly.
Trying to catch some perks.
Exactly.
See? Another...
conflicting.
Yeah, it's pros and cons.
Yeah.
For the people who are dating, that's a pro. But for the people who are not dating, that's a con.
It can be. But at the same time, if you're someone, like I said, when I was dating her at that particular time, I liked seeing her, and it was like a pro for me. Like, hey, I know where you're at. I don't have to worry where you at. I don't have to be worried about if you're talking to other coworkers when I'm not there. You see what I'm saying? So it also like you don't have that worrisome feeling like, is she talking to a coworker? Who is she spending time with when she's working all those 40 hours?
Yeah, you don't have to worry that she's talking to someone new.
Exactly, because it's me. I am the coworker crush, and I am the boyfriend outside of work.
Do you think that? Sorry, guys, I'm a little sick.
Snot.
Do you think that a major con of dating someone in the workplace is the fact that you're always with each other?
That's all fly.
You're always with each other. Never, like, I understand after the workplace maybe you don't want to see each other till the next shift, the next day. But there are couples obviously that hang out before work, hang out during work, and then hang out after work. Do you feel you think it's a con just seeing each other repetitively every single day?
I think it can be. I think it depends.
Because not just that, like most couples, they just see each other before work and after work. They don't see each other during work.
Especially if you live with the other person, yeah.
Yeah, especially. And when it comes to someone who's dating someone that they work with, they're obviously seeing them in the workplace, but now they're also not obligated, but they're also going to see each other before and after work. Do you think that people who date each other having those extra 8 hours of work based on a 9-to-5 job are at a disadvantage for the fact that they're seeing each other more often? They have like not as much break time like other couples. Other couples will get like a 12-hour break from seeing each other.
I think I think what you're saying, I think it's true, exactly like you said it. I think that work time, it is break. It's a break between one another. For me, when
I don't consider work time a break though.
It can be. But that's not what you're saying though.
No. I'm saying that some people, they see each other before work.
Yeah.
Let's give it a timetable. How about that? Okay, let's say the shift is 11 to 7.
Well, work shift.
A work shift.
Okay.
Sally and Bob work 11 to 7, the same shift.
Sally.
They don't live with each other, but they manage to catch breakfast every morning together. Then they walk together to work. They see each other 4 or 5 times every hour at work. Maybe they pass by each other. Maybe there's nothing to do and they just happen to pass by the other one's work area. Like you said, you were at the front of house manager, and she was in the back of the pharmacy. Maybe you had nothing to do and you just kind of stroll on by because it was a slow day.
Yeah.
Right?
And guilty of it.
Exactly. From, okay, so that's like 4 or 5 times an hour, so that you've seen each other some 36 to 40 times in 8 hours at the workplace. Then after that, you get out at 7. But guess what? You guys want to hang out till 10. Maybe 11. I don't know. Yeah, let's go with 11. Do you feel like doing that repetitively kind of gets on each other's nerves because there's not much of a break anymore?
So, just from what I'm understanding from what you say, like they have morning breakfast before their 11 to 7 shift, right? And then between the 11 to 7 shift,
they see each other a lot.
Yeah, because they are dating, so they'll frequently pass through one another, saying, small talk. And then after 7,
they want to hang out some more. Maybe till midnight. And then they go to their own separate houses, and the only break they really get is 8-9 hours maybe. That's just basically sleep. They don't live with each other. Do you feel, and you got to remember, that's a couple that's working together and dating together. Do you feel that versus a couple that does not work together, they don't see each other for that many hours, they only see each other maybe 8 hours a day because they don't have the extra 8 hours from their job because they don't work together? Do you feel that people who work together and date each other, who are with each other for some 14 to 16 hours a day, do you feel like that tires out the relationship quicker?
I think it can. I know, like when I was in my situation, I was the transportation to work, and we did have certain times we did have breakfast. If I got there early enough, like 5 or 6 a.m., I got to get there early enough for breakfast.
Damn, no, that's early as fuck.
Yeah, I got there early for. Actually, you know what?
I had to make sure the kid went to school.
I did that too. So, but while I was within that particular situation, we would be a 6 or 7 breakfast. But I had to get there early to have breakfast with her, and then we drove to work together. So then, while we were at the workplace, there are times I did frequent passing through, checking up on certain things, or even like, hey, we talk about the weekend plans. Or talk about certain discussions like, hey, did you see this? Did you see that? So I would frequent more often than none. If we weren't dating, I would pass through, through the times we did work. And then after my shift ended or after her shift ended, I would drop her to her house. And I think there was times more often than none, she would want me to like stay, eat, and like I technically I've seen that individual since 5 or 6, and now like you want me to stay for dinner it's already going to be like almost 8 or 9. So within that time frame, there are certain things, if I wasn't dating, there are certain things I would be doing. The gym, it was taken away from other different things that I like to do, my own personal things that I like to do, you know? And I put some of those things aside. And to be honest with you, when I was doing that scheduling, the way that you kind of just said everything, I felt stressed at times, and I was just kind of like...
'Cause you're always with them.
Yeah, I'm always with them. I don't have any... I'm not doing any things that I used to do.
Yeah, you have no you time.
Yeah, I have no gym time. I have no personal time. Even I think there was even conflict of times. Like when we were doing the beginning, we were doing the Marvel movies in the beginning, and she would be like, "Oh, where are you going?" I'm like, "Going to the movies." Like, "Oh, I thought you were gonna have dinner." Like, I got Marvel movies.
Okay, well now obviously that was an exaggeration of an example. Yes, but there are couples out there that, just like you heard Jay Fabes, there are couples out there that the second they wake up, they go see each other, then they go work together, then they'll hang out after work until they have to go to sleep, and they go sleep in their own separate houses, obviously. But there are a lot of people who aren't like that, you know, like, okay, hey, babe, I'm only going to see you during the work shift, cool, okay, bye, you know. But coming from your experience, do you feel like it itself is a con, dating someone dating someone in the workplace, the same workplace, for the fact that it could tire out the relationship quicker?
Yeah, I could definitely see it. I could definitely see it happening. I could definitely see it happening, draining the workplace. You see them so often. When's your free time? Kind of like we just said, it can drain the relationship. But I guess I'm surprised when certain people are not drained from it. You know what I mean?
I guess it kind of it throws into the aspect, as we talked about, last week, is seeing each other too much a bad thing or a good thing. I guess it really depends on that couple.
Yeah, definitely.
So there's couples who want to see each other all the time, every day, every second of the day.
Oh God,
and then there's those couples who absolutely need a couple of hours, a day to themselves just to recruit, hang out with their friends.
Yeah.
So I guess it really falls under that kind of a category.
Word.
Sounds about right.
So hold on, let's get to the juicy part. Not the dating part. That's not the. Yeah. The fooling around part. We're talking about casual dating in the workplace right now.
Yeah.
Are you guys for it? Against it?
They're doing a break room?
Upstairs
in the manager's
office. For those who are wondering what I'm talking about just randomly hooking up and
sex.
Sex.
Bumping the uglies.
Thank you, Guru.
All right, so
yes.
we discovered that Joshie has indeed bumped the uglies in the manager's office.
Bump the uglies? What does that mean?
Bump the uglies?
Yeah.
I mean sex.
No, say it the way you said it before.
Bumping the uglies.
No, the other way.
Sex.
Yeah, that's what it means. Bumping uglies?
You never heard of that saying?
No.
Oh, no.
Whatever. Also, because I know J Faves over here did a lot more than just date someone in the workplace. You know who I'm talking about. Redhead.
Let it out,
if you want to talk about it.
No.
I mean, remember, we're not giving names. We're just giving descriptions.
No, it's good. We can talk about that, too.
'Cause I'll talk about my shit if you talk about your shit.
Yeah. Oh, I guess I'm already deep in, right?
No, we're going to have our own legacy episode of John Cole's story.
My story isn't that exciting. It's only like the first 2 years of my old job.
No, I mean, obviously this is after I broke up with that individual. After, it was like several years after, former coworkers who I did work with, I did have, I wouldn't say a relationship, but I would say I had good nights with. Some of them a few drinks, some of them nice sleepovers.
So here's my question to you, man. After having the experience you had with your girlfriend for 2 years, right?
Yeah, we were about to get it for 2 years.
Yeah. After that, do you feel like enough is enough of dating someone within the workplace and even flirting or even fooling around with anyone? But obviously, I know your answer would probably be no, because you did fool around with other coworkers. But now, as an older individual, would you go back in time and tell yourself, hey, bro, after this 2-year relationship, you're going to get fucked around hard. Just don't do anything else with anyone in the workplace?
Well, I guess what's interesting, which I haven't thought of, is I guess some of the girls that I saw after they left that business. I know it's not really answering your question, but I'm going to get to that right after, though. Like some of the girls that I did play with, not play with.
Play with.
Some the girls that I did sleep with. Right. The girls that I did sleep with after I broke up with my ex. Now that I think about it, I think kind of how they saw how I interacted with my ex in the workplace, which I didn't hide it. Maybe they saw that as a pro. Maybe they saw that as like this guy's not hiding it. He treats her well. He brings her lunch, or he caters to her in certain situations, but also tries to keep it professional. So maybe those girls that I did see afterwards, maybe they saw that in some sense, and they were like, "Hey, now that he's single, maybe I can try and talk to him, and he would treat me just the same." But obviously not within the workplace because they don't work there, and I've moved on to another location. But maybe that also led me to sleep with certain individuals after my ex. Maybe they saw how I approached certain things with my ex in the workplace. So I mean, maybe now to answer your question afterwards, would I do it again? I think it depends. I think it depends on certain factors. I think it depends who your manager is. I think it depends who do you work with. I think if you have someone in the workplace that would put a halt to it, then maybe you don't want to do it, because why start something and know that someone within the workplace is going to knock it all down and tear it down by any means necessary. I think, to be honest with you, I think it depends. That's my answer. My answer is not a complete no, but my answer is not a complete yes. I think it depends who's already in the workplace. Like, if everyone's favorable for me dating this person and I know they're going to be okay with it, then maybe I would do it again. But at the same time, I'd be a slight hesitant because you see them so often. How do you know if the other person wants to see you so often anymore? Ooh. If they see you so much, how do you know they're going to be like, okay, maybe I want to plan like a dinner after work, and then they're like, well, we kind of just work together. We just kind of like spent like the whole work shift 8 hours together. Like, I just kind of want to go home and rest, like. Are they resting because they've seen you so long?
That is Q, meaning come over for Netflix and chill.
There was quite situations with that.
But, I mean, just because you work together doesn't mean you have to see each other doing work. I mean, you can always, obviously, if you're working in different departments, you don't have to squeeze through to her department, or she doesn't have to squeeze through to your department. And just, it doesn't have to be like that. You guys can keep it separate.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. If anyone listening does have like thoughts in their head, like, should I date in the workplace? It's obviously you don't want to risk your income. You don't want to have a reputation for someone who does sleep. Well, also, you have, like I said, kind of like what I said before, you don't want to have this. You don't want people looking at you like, oh, you're just sleeping around. You don't want this thing that people thinking of you bad in a certain way. So I mean, if you do go through with it, just be cautious. Understand who are the people around you. Is it worth it? But if you do it, just careful. And
then
wise words from
JFabs over here.
Wise words from an experienced individual.
Let's go with that.
Once you've dated in the workplace, it can be conflicting. It can be very problematic at times.
Jean-Claude, have you dated in the workplace?
I've never dated in the workplace. I just fooled around in the workplace. I worked at a terrible establishment for 4.5 years. Actually, no, 2 establishments. One I won't name because I'll probably get in trouble. But one I will name. Medieval Times.
Medieval Times, dinner and tournament.
My friend got me the job there. Props to Jess. I was kind of, how to put the word perspectively, a bit thirsty in my younger years. I just came back from the military, and I was just a little thirsty. And
what position were you?
I'd rather not give my position.
Okay.
Yeah, because then people might hear this and like, oh,
Okay.
I know who he is. And they'll find out who's who, and then it's a whole bunch of mess.
Classified.
Yeah, it's classified.
Classified.
Regardless, I went to work in Middle Times, and there was just some girls from other departments. We just talked, laughed a bit, and we fooled around every once in a while, but that's basically it. You know, just for like the first year and a half to 2 years of working there, and that's it. Nothing much. And then my other job, which I won't name, kind of did the same thing for the first year, and that's it. But I will say, what's that saying? Don't shit where you eat, or don't eat where you shit. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? That saying?
No, I got
One of those shits.
No.
I've heard of it.
What's the saying?
Don't eat where you shit, I think.
Don't shit where you eat. That sounds a lot more.
Shall we eat?
It's one of those.
Yeah. Don't shit where you eat. Basically, don't date at the workplace, because then a con is multiple amount of drama. Holy crap. Just drama at the wazoo, and it's sometimes like, why did I even do this? This is not even worth it. So, to those thinking about fooling around in the workplace, think really, really carefully. Drama might come from it in the future. You know, maybe you thought it was just a temporary thing, but the other person thought, oh, I thought this could be a permanent thing. Like, no. It's just a permanent, it's just a temporary thing. Don't get it twisted. They'll get, they probably caught feels and they're hurt, and this, lies come out like, he raped me, she raped me.
Mm-hmm.
They were aggressive in the workplace. I feel threatened. Those kind of accusations come out, and it's very hurtful to people. I'm not saying that happened to me, but I'm saying drama did happen because of the things that happened between me and a couple other coworkers. And if I go back in time, I tell myself real quick, hold on, this is what's going to happen. I'd give myself a choice. But knowing my dumb ass at that time, I'd probably be like, so who cares? I'll deal with it. But yeah. But what about you, Guru Dan?
Guru Dan. Oh, you're on the spot now, Guru Dan.
Yeah, because I've known Guru Dan for a very long time, and I know he's done some shit.
Place.
Except from whatever job you wanted.
Only one place that I can remember.
One place?
Only that I can remember at least.
What?
I'm not going to name the place, but I was a manager.
Is it? Oh, that place.
Yeah, I was a manager. She was a floor associate. We started hanging out a lot. Technically, I was her boss. Was alright. There was no favoritism. I didn't give a shit. You get in trouble, you get in trouble. You need to write up, also write you up.
Sorry, babe, I'm going to have to write you up. I don't care if we're hanging out.
We hung out a lot. She came to one of my barbecues. She met all my friends. Obviously you guys.
Wow, I must have not been at the barbecues. I don't remember that well.
I think you were gone. You were
no, yeah, you couldn't make it. I think you were away on drill.
Yeah,
you were on drill.
Military.
I threw a rock in his barbecue. Everyone was drunk. People throwing up in my backyard. So we ended up hooking up in the front of my house. And then all of a sudden, everyone's running over, pushing me, call my name, like, "Oh, do you mind? I'm a bit busy." And then we end up in my room, and then people run down the stairs. "Hey, are you busy?" It was a good time, But it's weird because it ended up because we connected on some kind of levels, but at the end, like the day after. She turns around. This is after a while of us hanging out, getting to know, talking. She's like, "Hey, I'm actually talking to someone else too." I'm like, "Oh shit, really?"
Oh.
And then we were in the park sitting down, and then she tells me that, and then a car drives by, and she's like, "Oh shit, hide me." I'm like, "Wait, what?" And I knew whose car that was too, and she was like, "Oh, that's actually the person I'm talking to." I'm like, "Oh shit, you're talking about that kid, Dan?" Yes, the same name as me. She's talking to someone the same name as me, and I was friends.
Oh wait,
with him.
I remember this right now.
I was friends with him, and a lot of things he found out, and I was like, "Oh, bro, sorry, I had no idea." Like, if I knew that you were talking to her, I would have, complete respect.
Yeah. And
it turns out me and him are still friends, but she's to the side now. We don't got times for that. But that's the only time I can remember dating in fooling around in the workplace.
Guru Dan.
Spicy.
Only thing I remember.
Spicy,
so far.
spicy.
You know.
Well, here's a question for you. Did you, if she wasn't talking to another individual, do you think things that would have gotten serious or spiced up or no?
Well, it's a good question because we would eat lunch together, but she was a vegan, and and she would always used to try to make me eat these vegan stuff. Dude, oh my god, dude, I cannot do it. I hate it. Bro, give me food, meat, no homo. Like, I need, like, cheeseburgers, like, hot dogs, chicken, chicken, steaks. I need that kind of stuff. So, in the end, I think, I don't know.
But I also know you in some sense, too. And there's times where you're learning things, too. Eating right, there's certain things, even maybe working out. There's certain particular things that, I know you've asked, you've inquired about. So, who's to say maybe this individual would have pushed you further in some sense,
But I don't think I can ever be a vegan.
Yeah, I mean, that's an obstacle on its own.
Yeah, that's something that you have to believe in, something that you feel something about.
Yeah, it's like compassionate towards animals where you don't want it.
You know what, bro? You give me a pig right now, I'll make bacon. Like
that pig will be inside a steam cooker? What do you have?
My steamer, man. My steamer.
He's got a steamer in here.
My smoker. Sorry, smoker. And,
baby back.
Definitely no vegan. I mean, she was a very nice person. I mean, I don't know what you guys thought of her, but she was very nice.
I barely remember her.
We hung out a lot. I introduced her to Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Always a good.
She's like, I never heard of these.
What?
And I'm like, what? Are you too young, girl?
Girl. That's how
you know what? I was born nowhere near around that time, but even I know who that is. My favorite fucking people in the world.
Those are the boys.
The boys.
So, in your own personal opinions, would you date? I mean, would you recommend dating in the workplace?
I don't see anything wrong with it as long as it's professional based, and but if you are a manager, you are dating an associate, it has to be on the books. There's no other way around that.
That's your personal perspective. That's it must be on the books.
It has to be on the books.
If you were to date someone.
If I were to actually say, hey, look, we're dating now, it would have to be on the books. Because I'm not going to put my career in jeopardy, and I wouldn't want her to jeopardize her career in any kind of way. And, I'm all about moving up in the world when it comes to work. When I was with that company, I wanted to become, the highest management possible. Unfortunately, I ended up hating that place with a burning passion. But I wouldn't want to jeopardize anyone's progress or get anyone in trouble and get anyone fired for something silly.
True. I feel it.
Yeah, it can be. How do I say this? Short-term rewarding at times. Like you can get some. You get some pinky, if you want to call it that.
Pinky.
You can get some pleasure. And at the same time, I mean, if things do further along happen, I mean, if you're dating, you can get long-term relief, long-term reward, if you want to call it that. I guess it also it depends on the mindset of the individual. Can you do it? Do you want to do it? Do you want everything else that entails that comes along with it? Can you handle that? So many things I think come along with that.
Yeah, sure.
So, for you guys, because you both have been in managerial positions, and I'm sure you guys already knew the rules for... God damn it, that was a bug. I hate bugs.
We're in the backyard right now, just relaxing and stuff, but there's
you guys are relaxing. I'm getting bit, and I'm getting bothered by bugs, and I hate bugs. So, for both of you guys, because you guys have been in managerial positions before, so you guys probably already knew most of the rules in the handbook, left page to right page or whatever. Do you think there could have been more stricter regulations in a handbook not to keep people from dating each other, but to make sure it doesn't affect the workplace in a manner that people can work in the workplace, but to the point where it affects nothing at all, zero effect on the workplace?
Well,
let me give you an example. I just came up with it not too long ago, because when I came up with the question, I came up with the answer like that. Two people can date. but one has to work one shift, one has to work the other shift.
Not same shifts.
Not same shifts, 2 different shifts. That's what I mean. That's like a really imposing regulation / rule in a handbook that could probably definitely allow anyone to date anyone. You know, it doesn't matter if it's going up the ladder, going down the ladder, or a lateral, you know, peer-to-peer dating. It'll allow anyone to date anyone in the workplace, but it'll completely make sure that they are in no way affecting the work production because they have no contact whatsoever indefinitely.
You know what? That actually really depends, though, on what kind of career you're in.
Yes, I totally understand, but that was just an example.
But I'd say if we're talking about certain areas, like if you're in retail, I'm going to say retail as an example. If you honestly, the place that I worked, you know, already had really good dating policy in there. You know, automatic the different departments you have to work in. You know, the same shift is okay because when it comes to retail stores, it's very hard sometimes to staff in hours. So I would probably say, I mean, that'd be crazy to absolutely put more regulations in it because the way it is, already working in different departments where you can't see each other except on your break, on your lunch. I mean, I think that's already enough.
What about you, J. Fabes? I think there should have been harder restrictions or lighten up or stay the same based on where you worked.
I think it gets interesting. I think when you're dating someone within the workforce, it can almost, how do I say it? You can almost overpower people. You can overpower, or you can be a favorable voice. By that I mean, just an example. If me and so are dating in the
U and F. Okay, U and F or
who?
U and F.
If me and so are dating in the workplace.
It's okay, bro. No names. We're just
if me and so are dating in the workplace, it can be you can almost lose the whole hierarchy, kind of like I a little bit said before. But you can almost disrupt hierarchy. It could be easily, those two could easily create their own power in some sense.
No, I totally agree. Yeah,
like especially if one's in the pharmacy, one's in the front. Now you're creating. I don't even know how to say it. It's its own hierarchy. Now they're going to those two individuals because they know the most information.
Yeah,
I know the most of what's going on in one realm. She knows what's going on in the other realm. So now all we need to do is exchange information.
Collusion.
Yes, collusion is a perfect word, I would say. You can collude
together,
and overthrow if you felt like.
And then you'll be the definition of a power couple.
Damn.
Well, yeah, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm just like from where you work.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
If that is allowable, and I'm the manager, now I'm afraid of. As a manager, are my words do they still hold weight to them as a manager? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I tell them what to do, but they're like, no, that's what Josh and so, they're telling me something else, and they know more about pharmacy. He knows more about the pharmacy and the other world. You know, like, he might know a better decision. So now it throws a hierarchy off, and now if you're the manager, you're kind of like, you know what? I can't allow this. My word must mean gold to these people, because in that hierarchy, you tell them what to do, and they like, okay, boss tells me what to do, I must go do. But if you disrupt the hierarchy, now the system of how things work is now disruptive. And how do you get the most work productivity out of your people if you're disrupting hierarchy? You know, certain things fall apart. But if I am a boss, I don't know if I would allow it. I might just disrupt it completely and say, not at all. I don't allow dating in my workplace.
Hitler?
Yeah, I guess that, but because to be honest with you, I had some certain situations like that happen where people would come to me and to her, or when we were together, they would be like, hey, can I ask you guys a question? Like something that a manager would ask. And I was like, wait, why don't you just ask the manager? Like, yeah, but you know more and she knows more what's going on, so like you both kind of know what's going on in the whole entire store, so I just asked you guys. So she would go over the boss. No, sorry, yeah, is that exactly what I'm saying? Well, she wouldn't ask the boss, she would ask us, of what to do.
And it was us.
So
Are you the manager? Or?
But they treated me like one. They spoke to me as if like I was.
Because he has seniority. He's been there a long time.
Yeah.
So his experience gains him power.
But what does that have to do with
influence?
dating?
It gained me influence with my front store people. So they understood it and they were like, okay. But it increased more because I did date someone within the other side of the other store who knew as much. So I think it's when it comes to power, it becomes very tricky dating in the workplace. If I'm the manager.
Well, it's a good thing. Even if you were a manager, you can't say people can't date in the workplace. Because I think it all depends on the corporate rules, not the manager rules.
It's true. But if you own a small mom and pop shop, what you say goes in some sense. Yeah, they cannot. No one can override that.
Well, I mean that's different.
Yeah. And if we're talking different realms.
But okay, so JFabs is a Hitler. No dating allowed in his stores.
I did it, so no one else can do it no more.
So my final question towards dating in the workplace. Do you think couples last longer if they find each other at work? I know it's strange. I know it's a weird question. I only ask it because, obviously, a typical person finds another person out in the street or out in another location, a bar, a bakery, or whatever, and, 2 years later, they're hitched, and then 70 years later, one of them is dying first and the other, and that's it. They've been married for some 70 years. Do you think you get the same effect from someone who you work with?
I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, while you're at work, you get to see a lot more of who they are and how they react to certain situations.
Yes, but remember my other previous question to JFabes on if you see him too much, you think it stales the relationship? Do you think it?
But again, that depends on the couple.
On the people? Yes, probably.
I'd say for me, of course, I'm gonna speak for my aspect of seeing people too much and whatnot, and then JFabs can do his. Yeah. But if I am dating someone in a workplace and I see them all the time, constantly, yes, I mean, of course, I can get a little stale for me. So you know what? It doesn't mean you always have to after work. You have to be with them. Like you can go home, you can relax. You go to boys' night, you go to a Marvel Ant-Man, a Wasp opening, and relax. But in other terms, sometimes you might have a day off of work, and she might be there, or opposite of that. And the thing is, I don't think seeing each other too much is going to ruin a relationship. I mean, for me at least. But there's definitely time where it's needed to have some relaxed time for myself.
I think in general, with the average individuals, I mean, everyone has to work. I mean, in my eyes, I feel like the majority of people who work don't do what they love. The majority. I think there is a smaller percentage of people who they are in love with the work they do. I would say a smaller percentage. So if we're just speaking in the majority, I would say there are those who are stressed when they go to work, right?
Yeah.
So now you can think of it two ways. But now that we've decided the audience, stressed people who are at work, okay? That is the audience. And now there's two different routes I think you can go this way. One, you can date someone at the workplace, and now you create the workplace to be a more favorable
of you and them
to you and the other individual. So now you're both wanting to go to work in some sense because you're going to see each other, but also you're creating a bad situation into a somewhat okay, little better situation, But then there's also the other side of it. If you don't date in the workplace and you don't like that job, it can get sucks. You know what I mean? But if you do date, maybe it'll make things better. So I guess pick and choose.
To our listeners out there, I guess it's really like your call. If you want to date someone in the workplace, if you want to pursue a flirting tidbit with someone else in the workplace, by all means. If you want to fuck around with someone in the workplace, by all means, just be wary of the consequences. They could be good consequences, or they could be bad consequences, like JFabes over here. So just be aware of those.
Yeah. Favorable outcomes. There's, my favorable outcome would have been you work together, and eventually I was going to leave, and I was going to pursue, something else, and she was going to pursue something else. But here's also what happens. Say you're working with one another, and obviously you're dating one another. Why would you leave in some sense? Now, are you stale? Are you staying in a job that you don't like? Just
settling.
Exactly. Are you settling for a job you don't want for a lower income, assuming a lower income?
Just be with that person.
Just to see and always be there with them.
Hell no.
So are you...
Well, we like to say hell no, but there are some people who are just deeply in love who are like, hell yes.
Yeah, and they want to see each other, so then why would they change?
Like, there's always room for advancements out there, people got to do what they got to do, yeah. I
think that's the adult version of it. Like, yes, you should always pursue the things that you want, but what if all you want is to just be in love and always see the person you want to love?
Yeah, I think it's going to be harder for that person to start a life later. You're getting paid what, if you have the opportunity of getting paid more at a better job, you're just making your life harder when it comes to buying a house or renting an apartment or buying, stuff.
But the question is, can the two individuals who see each other 40 hours for work, and then outside of that, and they're both in love, can they decide that consciously, like in their minds? Can they decide, like, okay, you know what, this is for the better? I think some people can, but I think there are people who are in such deep love. Think about it.
Or just infatuated.
Yes, because you know what, there are people who are in love and they do drugs together. There are people who are in love and they do all sorts of things. People who are in love, they do drugs together. They're connected by one thing, whether it's drugs, or they're connected by a sport. They're connected by a certain social activity or something, alcoholism. They are connected by it. So then how do you break apart from that if that is the connecting factor? Work might be the connecting factor, Like, we saw each other at work. We met each other at work. Obviously, I think the way you think is correct. I think adults need to pursue and understand that life of living increases, so you should pursue those financial gains in life. But I think there are people who will stay at a certain job because there are other significant others there, and you don't have to worry about if their significant other is flirting to other males, other females. That security blanket's there. I think most people won't pull that security blanket out for fear. How many times, fear is withholding them from growing?
It's true. It happens very often.
Yeah, we can speak about that on a whole nother spectrum with other things.
Yeah, that's another podcast story.
Oh, for sure.
So I think that covers pretty much dating in a workplace environment. So that is the end. That's going to be the end of this episode.
Well, I do want to say one thing to the listeners. Remember what I said before, thinking about the consequences, but also look at your handbooks for wherever you work, just to make sure there isn't some crazy shit saying yo, you date someone, you're fired. Just double check that one.
So again, that is going to be the end of this episode, episode 5, dating in a workplace. And of course, before we go, we got a couple things to cover. But first, we are going to cover last week's question, and that was on the first dates, who pays the bill, or do you split the bill? John Claude has the information on that from our viewer. Who was it this week?
Hold on, pull up the email. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, hold on. So, email is from Robin from Maryland.
Robin from Maryland.
Is it a guy or a girl?
I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter.
Oh, God. I'm sorry. Robin, you're a guy. I just never seen it spelled like that for a guy. I'm sorry. It's YN.
Okay.
Yeah. Robin from Maryland says, "Hey guys, I just started recently listening to your podcast. The question you guys were talking about last podcast, I figured that I might as well give the answer, because for all men men should be paying the bill for the first date at least. I say this because my mom taught me since day one that you should respect a woman and that you should..." Robin, you need to hit up spell check a bit in grammar. Sorry.
Okay, Jesus.
I'm sorry, but that was a little tough for me to read. My mom taught me. Oh, okay. My mom taught me from day one, you should respect a woman and value her. And what's the best way to value her? By showing that you can... Oh, man. I am so sorry. That you can provide for her. So paying for the first date shouldn't be an issue for any guy at all. It shows that you're courteous, it shows manners, and also shows that you're willing to go a little bit to show that you like her.
Okay, I understood what he meant.
Yeah, and that's basically in an email. I understand, what to call it. Yeah, be respectful. I mean, my mom taught me the same thing. Like, I had this really bad thing with my girlfriend where I would not let her pay for anything because my mom just kind of instilled in me, like, the man pays for everything. But that's because the culture I came from, or the culture that she was raised, and she kind of instilled in me a little bit. So, yeah, I do agree that men should pay for the first date at least. And then from there, hey, maybe you want to talk with the girl, like, you want to go halvesies. How about you take one day, I take another date, so forth and so on. So I think that's what you're saying, Robin. If that's not what you're saying, you can always hit us up again on the email, and I'll respond to you personally.
I definitely agree. I mean, I think every date I've actually been on, I paid for every single one. But they offer to pay. But, I mean, I live proper, how I was raised. I was always meant to be.
It's just kind of like insistent. Like, I'm sorry, I know you want to pay. I know you have the money for it. I'm not trying to hinder down on your independence over here, But right now, mentally, my mom's telling me I have to pay this bill, or she's gonna kill me if she finds out.
But then there's those times where when you go meet your significant other at their house, they come to your house. I remember when I was sick and I was dating this girl. And she actually came to my house, brought me soup, Chinese food, just to make me feel better. Those small things in life, really mean a lot.
That's a rarity right there.
Yeah, it is. Too bad she's no longer around. But I definitely agree with you, Robin. That's a great answer.
Podcast for another day, huh?
Yeah, podcast for another day. I got a lot of those stories hidden in the trunk,
Yeah, locked away. I never even heard that story before. I'm learning things too, guys.
Yeah, there's a lot more behind that story. What?
I feel like I know who it is. I think.
I guarantee you don't. So, anything else you guys want to add to Robin's?
No, I think
question.
Answer.
Answer. No, I think that's what he was trying to say. I mean, I kind of agree with it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't kind of. I know I totally, completely agree with it. So, yeah.
All right, so we're gonna end this question. We're gonna end this podcast, of course, with another question, and that question is going to be based on today's podcast. And the question is: do you think seeing your partner? Give me a second. All right, so thank you, Robin, for the answer there. And now we're gonna do our question, of course, for you guys to respond to us. John Claude, you want to throw the question in today?
Yeah, the question is actually it's based off today's podcast, and the question basically is, do you think, it's the same question I asked J-Fabes, do you think seeing the person that you're dating more frequently than other couples because you work together, do you think that stales the relationship or deteriorates it or just makes it more frustrating in some sort of way? Maybe because you see them more often and you want a little bit more view time, but because you hang out before work, during work, and after work, it just kind of stales it out.
That's a good question. And, of course, if you do want to answer that question, you can always go to nosugar.addedpodcast.com or email us at questions@nosugar.addedpodcast.com. And, of course, don't forget to follow us on iTunes, Google, and Snitcher. And thank you guys so much for listening. I am your host, Guru Dan, signing out, along with
Jean-Claude. See you guys.
J-Faves. Have a good one, guys.
Goodbye.